This is InsideInvestmentBanking.com, the place where you can find every secret you need to break into banking. Which bankers actually read your resume? Usually, it's the analysts that will screen resumes at the first hurdle, meaning they are the ones who decide whether you get a first-round interview. Now, banks prefer to allocate your resume to analysts who are alumni of your school. For obvious reasons, they are able to judge the quality of your education achievements the best since they've been there, done that. That point should already be setting off alarm bells in your head, i.e., don't BS about school-related achievements in your banking resume. HR might be involved in the screening process if you've applied outside normal recruiting, and in some countries, they may take the role of junior bankers, or so we've heard. The bigger boys, associates, VPs, MDs, will look at your resume come interview time, but no earlier. P.S. Don't be surprised if these BSDs of the banking world only first pick up your resume just as you waltz into the interview room. Oh, don't get fazed if a grumpy-looking MD Larry Larryson sits there silently reading your resume as you're left to hang. You see, pin-drop silence, coupled with weird facial expressions of disgust and disapproval, is a favorite intimidation tactic of senior bankers everywhere. Before we move on, I just want to say that in banking, your resume serves two purposes. One, to get you the interview, and two, to drive the interview questions you get. Right now, I'm most concerned with showing you how to nail point one because it's far more make or break than point two. And hey, who cares if your resume drives good interview questions or not if you never get invited for the interview in the first place? How do bankers screen your investment banking resume? The resume screening process is usually done by one group of bankers, the recruiting team for that year. Now, it differs from team to team, but it's quite likely the whole group will sit down and judge your resume together. If that's the case, your resume may simply be skimmed over aloud, followed by a chorus of yay or nay. Naturally, everyone present will be invited to come up with witty one-liners. Like when you start working 7 nights a week, fueled solely by cheap ramen and copious amounts of caffeine, you'll find this shit funny too. Alternatively, each analyst could be in charge of a pile of resumes and be tasked with presenting the group the 10-second story and 3 reasons why and why not for each resume. Clearly then, having a banking resume with an easy-to-decipher story will make you easy to greenlight in group settings. Similarly, making your resume readable in the blink of an eye by using cutting-edge presentation principles will also ensure your success in group settings. Outside of a group setting, there's the alone time review. Picture an analyst at their desk with a stack of papers sorting through them like they're playing cards, i.e. lightning-fast reviews where they simply check off 3 or 4 qualities: school name, GPA, internship experience, and not a nut job, before moving on. As you can see, no matter how your banking resume is read, it's read fast. Knowing how to turn this apparent problem to our advantage is something we're going to look at soon. What about computers? Can a freaking PC kill your chances? Some of you may find out via email or text message whether you have a first-round interview within an hour of submitting your application or resume online. The question has invariably popped up, is a freaking PC deciding my fate? And if so, how? Well, this one is pretty simple. The bank is deciding who gets a first-round interview based only on cut-off academic scores. Thankfully, it's easy to determine whether this will happen to you. When you apply online, if you're asked to manually input your academic units and scores, or simply your GPA, then 8 times out of 10, your first round will be decided by a computer. Although we'll talk about education requirements another time, let me make it clear now. In order to break into banking, your GPA needs to be solid. Think 3.4 plus. And if you want to summit the bulge bracket world, a GPA of 3.5 plus is necessary, especially in today's world. That said, you can still get into banking with an average GPA because 1, GPAs are not created equally, 2, all banks do not require the same achievements, and 3, alternative entry strategies into banking exist for those of you with GPAs below 3. Anyways, back to it. What about keyword scans by computers? Can these kill your resume? Well, to be honest, keyword scans are rare, maybe even an urban legend. After all, what are keywords? And how do they correlate with quality? Fortunately, we've never heard whispers about banks using this technique to shortlist resumes, so skip writing banking internship 18 times on your resume. It's just not necessary. And don't forget that $22 an hour analysts, yes, that will be your wage on an hourly basis, can burn through a pile of 150 resumes in under 40 minutes. So why would banks even need ridiculous shortcuts like keyword scans? This has been another InsideInvestmentBanking.com presentation.